Hey, this is Zach. My debut album, Punching Jesus, is coming out November 9th. You can buy it on presale on iTunes and Amazon now at hippienotHippiepod.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks so much for your support. And while you're there, pick up a copy of AJ's new album, Too Fast for Rain, as well. Thanks. I'm Zach Moss.
And I'm AJ Fenney.
And this is
Hippie?
Not Hippie. Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Hippie.
Not Hippie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Day after the big show. Also, I just realized we didn't plan this, but this is interesting. Both of us are in red, which is, Jerry only wore red every now and again. It was, watch your head. Jerry's in red.
Oh, yeah? Why? Because he just didn't own that many red things? Or it was an intentional thing? Like, Jerry's pissed. He's wearing red. Jerry's bullfighting today.
Typically just a black T-shirt and black sweatpants on that dude. Very rarely would you catch him in shorts either, but that happened on hot days.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like that about him, then. I like that he was... I don't know. I'm coming around on the shorts.
Shorties.
I didn't wear shorts for 10 years, and now... Here I am. I'm in them right now.
You got to do it. Before you know it, you'll be in jorts, buddy, letting tip hang.
Yeah, I used
the
to
older
have
you get, I think it's less tip. It's more eggs.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like the young me, very young me, is also starting to dress like very old me. So
yeah, I think the older that you get, well, you're in your 40s now. I think you just get to a point of not giving a shit anymore. It's very freeing sometimes.
Yeah, no, I can tell.
Yeah.
So we went to
Dead and Code 2021, January. God damn it. You can tell I'm still in it.
January.
July 1st, 2023, Folsom Field. First night of the 3-night run.
January and July are similar.
They both begin with a J.
If you're going to fuck a month up, it's not like you were like, October.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not in the Shrek zone.
Yeah, or you weren't like, April,
Yeah.
Because January and July, I'll let you slide on that one.
I wasn't like, Wednesday.
So what is the date of the show? Because that's important.
It's very important.
Deadophiles? Deadheads are into this.
7/1/2023, and it was a heater, but we'll get into that later. It was a real good one.
7/1/2023.
Yep. 7/1/23.
Folsom Field,
Boulder, Colorado. Oversold.
Double rainbow oversold.
Dude, the pictures of the double rainbow have been out now. They're losing their mind over that because it happened. It was in California when they were doing the Fairly Well tour. So they did California, which I think was Santa Ana, but I can't remember. And then they did Chicago, which is where the last shows were. Is
there some thing out there of every rainbow that's ever happened at a Grateful Dead show?
No, it's just kind of a magical moment. So in Santa Ana, which I think is where it was, Santa Carla, sorry. The rainbow just shot over the entire field. It was wild, to the point that people were saying that it was generated, like it wasn't real.
Oh, yeah.
Fake news. Fake news on the rainbow.
They did have some pretty good visuals, I will say.
Yeah. Well, let's start at the beginning of the day. We'll just walk through the whole adventure.
Yeah, sorry we don't have a pre-game tape of this, but... we didn't have a card, so...
Yeah.
But we figured, fuck it. We've been talking about this on the pod for a few weeks. Everybody knows it's coming.
Yeah.
So.
I also kind of figured we'd just play it like the Dead. Just feel it out. See what happens. We'll probably bounce all over.
Yeah, we're jamming right now.
Yeah. Noodles and Co. I was super excited yesterday. Still feeling a little under the weather, so I ended up taking a Zyrtec at one point. We were planning to pre-pod to talk about what expectations were. How were you feeling before? And what were you thinking you were going to get into? What were you nervous about?
I was nervous about having to go to the bathroom.
That is valid. Like, you mean number one, number two?
Number one,
Okay.
because 50,000 people, it's going to be hard. Because I had a few beers or whatever, and I was like, man, and I got a big prostate, so I was like, oh, man.
Oh, brag often?
Am I going to... I know, I have a large sex organ in my butt. That was one of my concerns. One of my concerns, too, was that it was going to go on.
Longer than you were wanting.
Yeah, and the other concern I had is that I would be standing in the sun for a long period of time and that my feet would hurt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, these are very like old man concerns. Oh, I gotta pee. Yeah, and I will say that I was pleasantly surprised in all of those areas.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, I'm happy at this point to hear that you weren't like concerned about the smell of patchouli or dirty hippies spinning in circles.
I did think about that. When I was leaving my house, I was like, man, I wonder if it's just going to fucking reek.
But it's wide open, though, too. So it's not like you're an indoor venue.
No, I mean, I imagine... God, I can't imagine what the indoor version of that. Also, something about
a lot less this year, more than a lot of other years, and some other shows. The Dead & Co. fans overall a lot less crusty than some.
You can tell there's like a John Mayer element to the fan base.
Yeah, well, there's also a lot of older dudes that are like they're still on the bus, but they're they're doing stuff now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the old guys in there looked like people I had who taught classes when I was a kid that were called computer.
What do you mean? Computer?
Like you just remember when there was a class just called computer?
Oh, I thought you meant you called the instructor computer, and I was like, I try to stay on the wavelength of abstract thought, but I missed that one.
You might have missed this. You might have been before it. When you were in school, was there a class called computer?
I don't think I had
computer class.
Oh, no, we did have computer class. We had typing and then like computer, I guess it would be like computer 101 or something. I don't think it was coding or anything.
No, I love that it didn't even have a title back then. It was just computer.
Yeah, and
I'm going to computer.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't go to computer, boy. You go to shop class.
Yeah, computer.
Yeah.
It was weird because I had some people come up and say hi to me that I don't think I knew.
No.
But I think they were just coming up to say hi to me.
Yeah, that's the best part. If you're there, you're family. Like I didn't tell you that. And what didn't happen was I was hoping
you didn't tell me that I was part of a family?
I didn't.
How fucking weird is that, AJ? You left that out?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was in this family.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to be like, fuck, now I'm involved in this thing. But also it was interesting, like the first time I had seen an incarnation of the Dead, like again in 2012, a friend of mine brought me, and he had told everyone around me that it was my first show, and it just made everything way different. But
why?
The fans were a little
they
bit
treated you weird, or
no, it was way better. Like everyone was adamant about like, do you know what song's going on? What song do you want to hear? Like they were really into it. Lots of hugs. I mean, everyone
and you
around
didn't want me to have that experience.
There wasn't the right people around.
Yeah,
like
boy wasn't there.
Yeah, we'll get into that. What a wild evening, though, huh?
Yeah, no.
Started at Illegal
now
Pete's.
that I know that we're family,
Yeah,
a lot of
family.
more things that happened that day make sense because they were like things that people in your family would do.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, there's an adamant thing that in one of their songs, they talk about strangers stopping strangers just to shake their hand.
The guy just shook my hand and said hi right when I got there. When I was holding down the spot when you went in the bathroom, I was all alone up there, and he just came walking up to me out of nowhere and was like, hi.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
And then he shook my hand.
Yeah.
And his hand was so wet. And I was thinking to myself, I was like,
druggy palm sweats.
Well, I was like, did I just get
dosed?
Yeah. Did this guy have acid on his hands?
Man, that would have been wild. I think you would have been more wild out if that was the case. I mean, especially
I didn't do any acid. The guy didn't have acid on his hands. But that was a thought that crossed my mind for a second. I was like, does this guy have acid on his hands? Because he looked very much like he could be a guy walking around with acid on his hands.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've had some sweaty acid hugs at festivals that have kind of pinged me where I'm like, oh shit, dude. Like whatever you got on you is now in me for a second.
Oh yeah, like they moisten your clothes and
just well, I mean,
so they're in the spin zone?
I've literally gone bare chest to bare chest with some hippies that I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't know. Sweat doesn't bother me that much. Like human sweat, out of all the things that come out of a body that can get on me, for some reason that doesn't bother me.
But I will say that I can't say all drug sweat, but acid sweat has a very distinct smell. Like to me, like I can tell it's very tingy.
Acid sweat has a particular smell to you?
Dude, it has a very, like, I can smell a person who's been partying.
I mean, I'll say this.
It has a very distinct
I'll say this.
odor to it.
So, wow. So you're like a fucking human drug dog for people on acid.
Well, I mean, you can also tell at points. They're a little wild. But, I mean, every time I've been around someone who's been tripping and I smell that smell, I go, oh, there it is.
So on Monday, if I can get a hold of some people there and we can set up maybe a blindfolded smell test where you smell some humans and then you can tell us which ones are on acid.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell you which ones are on acid. Yeah. The ones that are, it'll be obvious.
The ones that are the most uncomfortable about doing a blindfolded smell test.
Right, just the ones that someone's going, hey, stay in line. What? I'm not listening to you.
I will say it does freak me out. In my yoga class, there's like an option to have hands-on assist or whatever or not, and I don't do that. The lady comes around and massages everyone's heads at the end of class.
I've had that, yeah.
Yeah, and all
I like it.
So I like the head massage. What I don't like is thinking about the fact that she's just ran her hands through everybody's sweaty-ass head in the whole class. Like, if you're at the end of the row, you're getting a lot of sweat on you.
Yeah, that's true. But she also, when she did it to me, she put essential oils on her hands every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did like a lavender eucalyptus.
So you felt like the oils cleansed her hands enough to...
Yeah, some of that stuff maybe it was tea tree. So it's like an antibacterial thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Tea tree kills COVID.
Yeah, sure, AJ. Yeah, you heard it here on our podcast that no, don't use tea tree oil to fight COVID.
Yeah, it works. You got put it in your urethra.
Yeah, all right. I was worried about the parking situation when we were rolling up because it was there were so many people and at one point in time you were like, oh, maybe we should just pay if it's like $20, but no, $40. And that's what I was thinking when I was walking through there. I was like, wow, so many people here are rich.
It is a very expensive it's a very expensive thing to go to these days. Also, not to mention how many people came from out of town. And I looked at hotels because I was like, maybe it'd be best if we just spend the night there and get real wild. Yeah. And dude, everything was gouged up. Yeah,
what was the average room that you looked at?
$250.
Crime! That's a crime.
$250 on the low end.
No, that's...
I mean, I saw some $500 a night places, and I was like, Jesus, man.
Hippies staying $500 a night. They have that much money.
No, yeah. You know how many people are staying in that $500 a night room? Probably 12.
Yeah, you think so?
Just wooked up. Yeah, tribed it.
Oh, yeah, just fucking living it. All right. Well, that makes me happy that they're doing it that way.
Yeah, dude. Packed in.
But I guess, too, if you want to park in that lot and you have a car with 5 people in it, that's like $7 a piece to fucking have a hang spot in the lot. But I didn't see this shakedown.
Well, we missed it. I was trying to go there at the end of the night, and then you started hitting GPS, and then I started pinging. But like I was getting frustrated at the end of the night, but most of it was in my head. But shakedown was the other direction.
I just thought we were in a hurry to try and go podcast, and that didn't all work out. So
yeah, my headspace at the end was bad. Like I had to eat, my throat was raw, and I was literally spiraling about what was all over me. But
Yeah.
we talk about that after.
So
So anyway, parking. I will tell you this: if you guys are,
we
if you're
found
going
free
out,
parking,
if
and
you're
had a
going
little
up to
walk.
Boulder,
don't tell people the secret parking spot.
well, they're fans. If you're going to pay for this episode, you should get a little something.
Okay.
The
Yeah. No, I guess this is behind the paywall.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, everyone who gave us some money. We work really hard on this show and it takes hours and hours every week. Thank you.
And I'm not even going to call it a trashy. I'll just call this like a hippie road life hack. And because Dead & Co.'s not going to be there anymore, I wonder if they will bring another band into Folsom. But yeah, if you're going up there, what we always did every year was you just bypass that line on Broadway and then make a left turn into, God, I think it was like Aurora, like 15th and Aurora, something like that.
That's where we parked.
Yeah, and you just look for parking. You can park for free up there, and then all you have to do is walk down.
Also, if it's not a school day, there's a lot of signs that say like no parking, and they're kind of long. But if you read to the bottom, it's totally cool to park there on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah. Also, regardless of what they say, they do not care about you bringing a bag in. I watched that happen time and time again. On their website, it says, must be a small transparent bag. And I watched people just walk in.
Yeah, AJ told me that I would be frisked, that he's been frisked every time he's gone.
I have been frisked down.
And I was thinking about this because I feel like I used to get frisked at everything I used to go into as well. And now, it's maybe because things are more legal now?
Maybe.
I don't know what it is.
You're going through a metal detector, so if you ping, you're probably getting rang. Maybe that's what happened. I think I had a belt buckle on, and it went off. Maybe that's why I got searched.
Well, I took my belt off. I took all my metal off and held it above my head. So
yeah, it was interesting because you took your cock piercing out.
Well, I had my Shinesty underwear on with the ball sack thing.
Yeah,
and I just took my balls out of the sack.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm ready for the field. Put me in, coach.
Well, I took my balls out of the sack, and then I put a little bottle of whiskey in there.
Yeah. 2 bottles of whiskey, clink clanking.
Yeah, I put it in there and snuck it in. I walked in. I was like, God damn it. I didn't need to put my hand down my pants twice.
Yeah.
I could have just walked in with this.
Man, I pushed the head of my dick back into my foreskin, and then I put a psychedelic mushroom right at the end just so they couldn't tell. You just got to tape it up.
Yeah.
Hope you don't get hard on the way in. It'll push your drugs out.
That'd be a man. No, I was just thinking like how bummed I am that I don't have like a foreskin. Like I can't do any cool pranks like that. Like be like, oh look, is my mushroom tip look weird? And then this like an actual mushroom falls out of your foreskin. You know,
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
That is yeah. Tip of the trade.
That's a good gag. All right. So
yeah. Well, our entire adventure started at Illegal Pete's. That's one of the traditions that I start. And I thought it was wild. I can't remember what it was. Something happened, and you're like, seems like we're on the right direction. We're on the right track.
Well, you found a Bob Weir thing.
I did see a sticker of Bob Weir when I went to get napkins, and I was like, this is interesting.
Oh, there was the house beer there has the
VW bus.
A VW bus on it, too. So, yeah, the omens were good.
Yeah, we were ready to get on that bus.
Yeah.
Also, for any of you that for some reason are tuning into this and you didn't know, yesterday was Zach's first encounter with any type of Grateful Dead festival type jam experience.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're getting into.
Here's another hack for Illegal Pete's. If you like queso and green chili, and you like to do the chips as a side or whatever, or a naked burrito, you can just do basically a reverse nacho where they put everything in a thing, but you get queso, green chili, and your meat and all the same shit, but it's a little cheaper.
Yeah.
So I got that reverse nacho.
And a margarita. Margaritas.
I had my free coupons from High Plains. I was like, I need to spend these. And I was
Do they expire? Because I have a small stack.
They do not. So I'll take those margaritas from you.
Margarita.
But
I don't know why I keep saying it like that.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's
okay. Is that okay?
I think you're saying it like Beavis or something.
Margarita.
Yeah, but
are you threatening me?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna have some drinks here because I think a few drinks usually helps anything go down a little easier for me.
Yeah.
As far as the experience.
Yeah.
Dealing with lines. So, yeah, we get there. We wait in this long-ass line. When we finally get up to the line...
Yeah. Well, remember, we had those ladies. When we got into town, I felt pretty good. And then we found the parking, and we just kept rolling there. And then once we... It was a fun roam to get to where we were actually heading. Because we went past that practice field that was really nice. And those people were like, this is the place to be.
Oh, yeah, and then they were laughing. There were some kids walking by that were like, I've never seen this many people with long hair
that
in
was
my
weird.
life or something.
And then we were talking about it, and the two people go, did you get a hold of that too? And we're like, yeah, man, it definitely got into my world.
Yeah, and then when we pulled up in line, the ladies that were in line, I embarrassed AJ because I took this video, and I was like,
God.
long-ass line.
I can tell you if I like the parent within 2 minutes of it.
I can't believe there's this many people here for this Trump rally. Trump rally?
Yeah, it was so weird. Yeah, and I saw that on Instagram this morning. I was like, holy shit, I shared it, but it just, all this stuff, and it just says Boulder Trump rally. And I was like, what in the fuck is happening right now?
I was just having fun.
Yeah.
You know, he had a big rally yesterday, which I don't know why. That seems like the worst thing to go to ever.
Oh, dude, I bet it's, brutal.
Yeah, you're like, I just am going to stand there and listen to this guy yell about a bunch of things that he's trying to make me afraid of. Oh,
yeah.
God. But
yeah, typical.
These ladies are trying to act cool though, and they're like, do you think we could smoke a joint in this line? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
And the one lady goes to the other lady, she goes, is that a fucking diaper?
Yeah, that was so funny. And then she goes, I remember I looked back and I think it was a rain poncho. And she goes, why would I have a diaper? And I turned back and I was like, it is a dead show. Why wouldn't you have a diaper? Like, anything's possible here.
Yeah. Well, and at first they were waiting there for a while too. And she goes, I hear her go to the other lady. She's like, are you sure this is the right line for general admission? And I turned back to her and I was like, oh no, this is the line for the bathroom.
Yeah.
She was like, okay. Then when the diaper thing happened, I was like, well, you know, the line's this long for the bathroom.
Yeah.
You probably do need a diaper. And that's what I was worried about. I was like, diaper's a great idea. Just a backup diaper when a line's that long.
Like it depends.
Like if you actually had to wait in that giant poster line, you couldn't leave, maybe you want a little diaper on.
Man,
because you had to go when we got there.
Dude, I had to go bad, but I had to get that poster first. And then I met that couple from Minneapolis. It was their first show. And that guy was like, he's like, I think his wife goes, are you sure we're in the right line? And I was like, I just look at it this way. Most of the time I've been to a show, I don't know where I'm at or what's going on, but 99.9% of the time, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I told the guy, I was like, look at it this way. If we're in the bathroom line, by the time we get there, we probably need to piss anyway.
The thing is that line was totally worthless.
Yeah.
Because once we got to the end of the line, it was just people jumping out of that line into a giant pile of people.
Yep. Once they opened the gate, it was nonsense.
Yeah. But we got in pretty early.
Dude, and then I had to pee so bad because I was I just crushed those NA IPAs.
Yeah. He drank 48 ounces of NA beer. He was trashed on NA beer. If he would have been drinking real beer, he would have been faded.
Yeah, dude. But I had a full bladder.
So we get in. We stake our claim. We go through the sludge of people. The bathroom line's insane when we get inside.
Yeah, we got into the field house for a second. Well, no, I think... Okay, this was an accident, but it worked out in my benefit. As soon as we got in, I told Zach, I was like, I've got to go to the left I've got to get one of these prints. And as soon as we got near the line where it was, I didn't know where the end was. And this guy goes, hey, if you guys are just waiting in line, don't wait in this line to get over here. Just go all the way to the left. There's only like 2 people over there. And I was like, okay, shit. I just looked at it as the same way as like TSA.
Yeah.
You know? So I bombed over there and got in line, and I had...
Well, and after we learned about the line on the way in, it was like that line was a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
And you took a video of me trying to get these prints.
So AJ's waiting in this line for a poster. He finally made it up there so he could get his goddamn poster. He is. He's in there getting it. Oh, he's wheeling and a dealing.
That little short girl in front of me.
Spending that cheese. There's a lot of people that want these posters. This land. Oh man. He's looking around like he's doing a drug deal. Oh, he's like, my wife is gonna fucking kill me because I'm spending $300 on fucking posters. That's what he's doing. Oh, there's the Precious. He brought his own tube.
Thank you.
Oh, see how happy he is. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, excuse me, guys.
There's just one poster for the whole.
Oh man, he got his Precious. I
got two.
Oh, I know. I got it all on tape.
Yeah?
I got the internal debate where you're like, should I spend this much money? And then you like looked around like you were doing a drug deal. And then yeah, no, we got it all.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
know where you went. I thought you were lost.
I got the evidence, Marciana. Fucking busted.
Getting them. I still haven't looked at the number, but I know they're low.
Yeah, you spent 100 and what?
I think it's about $130, $140, something like that on the two
But those
prints.
are worth what?
Everything to me.
Yeah, but like if you resold them today, like
Dude,
how much would they be?
I'm
worth?
not even sure because I saw this morning. There was a pen, and I didn't even look at the pens from last night. But there was a pen on sale today from from July 1st that was already being resold for $55, and those pens are typically like $20.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if the print is limited release per night, and that's why it's sold out. So maybe there'll be more. But I got the bus one, and then I got the the blacklight Bertha. But then once you told me that I cut like fucking bad, I felt good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have never done that had I known.
We'll talk about this more, but I think that's kind of the general vibe of the Dead.
Just do what you just figure it out.
Well, I think there's a lot of good happening there, but there's also a lot of bad.
There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad boys. Well, and just like anything in life, I think if someone would have been like, "Hey, you cut," I'd be like, "Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I didn't know." Someone was getting up there and just buying the last remaining prints to turn around and resell.
Yeah, somebody bought like 200 prints at a show recently. So because my news feed is fucking ruined because of our podcast.
You keep saying better wrong.
Yeah, but I got this article about some asshole doing that, and people
Dude.
are like, "Oh, it's the low of the low" or whatever. But like I said, there's
Yeah.
the good and the bad. That's the
Yeah.
seedy side because now it's a thing.
It's the same thing with scalpers. So
But and then I read that article and I was like, motherfucker, I should have just walked over there with AJ and bought a goddamn poster and turned around and sold it for double.
you could have. If you'd
And then I
have,
would have paid for my day.
well, that's the whole thing. If you bought it, if you would have bought one of those bus prints and just held on to it, even less than a year, you could flip it if that was something you
For
wanted
what?
to do. I mean,
Like $200 or $300?
probably it's the last tour,
Yeah.
so that's it. Like this is everything now is I feel like holds more, might hold more value to somebody. But for me, again, it's that poster holds memories that there's no price point to it. You
Yeah.
know, it'll remind me every night of like hanging out with you and the Alexes.
Yeah. Which, that's always fun to hang out with a couple with the same name.
Dude, it was tripping me out for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I forget sometimes when I'd be talking to one of them and I'd be like, I was talking to Lady Alex.
Lady Alex.
And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, when I was waiting for you guys, I was like, holy shit, everybody looks like Alex here.
Yeah.
And she's like me? And I was
Yeah.
like, no, like your husband. Like, fuck, everybody looks like him.
Yeah. We should get the Alexes on the show at some point.
No, I was thinking that would have been a good to have them over to talk about
Yeah.
this show because, yeah, they were there for it.
Yeah.
And no, I'm glad it was fun to hang out with them.
Super fun.
So,
But I will say there was
Yeah, I've
There was
gone to
a-
basketball with Alex and the Alexes before too. They're a good time.
Yeah. There's a little bit of, I had a little bit of frustration once we got in. So we got in, got the poster, then we had to figure out where the Alexes were, and then we had to try to grab a seat and post up. I had to piss so bad. Once we were in the field house, and then the line was just brutal. And I was already starting to dry
One
up
of
in the
my
mouth.
fears. One of
And
my
I was like,
fears.
I gotta pee and I need water real bad. Yeah, that wasn't looking good right off the bat. And then once we got in on that side, I was like, we'll just post up. And on the west side, you can get shade, but on the east side, it's a much better view. You just have to cook for a little while.
You can see the mountains. But what we didn't know is that behind us there was going to be a fucking double rainbow.
and the moon.
Yeah.
that popped up.
So
later.
the people on the other side got a really cool view too.
They did. They got a cool view for a moment, but we had all of it.
Yeah, I got to see the moon and the fucking rainbows, so, fuck them.
Yeah.
Over there. They didn't get to see what I got to see.
Yeah,
The sunset on the fucking Flatirons.
yeah.
That's
So-
what I will say about Folsom. I've never been to a show or a sporting event there. That is one of the coolest venues I've ever been to.
Dude, so great. Like at that point where you're at, when you look to the left, the Flatirons are right there. And the weird part is in my memory, looking at it, I remembered them being much further away than they actually are. And
Yeah.
last night I was like, man, not only is it majestic, but it's right there. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you're on top of them.
Pretty fucking cool. One of the best outdoor venues. I actually thought it was prettier than Red Rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just as far as the view, I think so. Especially the east side of that stadium.
And I thought the sound was better.
Sound was great. Like, it just depends on where you're at. Because if you get at one point, it'll ping off stuff, and it can get a little weird. But I know one of the Alexes was talking about how there was like a dead spot sometimes, but I felt like it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
Yeah.
I liked it.
We got a spot, finally found a place to post up.
And at that point in time, my mushrooms are kicking in.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating getting to our spot because like when we got there, I looked at it and I was like, oh, we'll have plenty of time. And then once we started, just the corral, what felt like the bull corral was already, I was like, dude, this is way too much.
We
gotta get
should
out
have
of
walked
this.
up a level to the bleachers and walked across. I think.
Yeah,
And
or-
we would have gotten there so much sooner.
Yeah, or stayed on the outside and just walked around and gone back
We
in.
got there right as everybody started to really pile in from the other side of the stadium, which was empty when we got there.
Yeah.
And it's correct. Like, people start to get savage about fucking seats.
That is true. It does get a little brutal. And then
Yeah, everybody's family.
yeah. But
Until you need your fucking seats to sit
yeah.
with your actual family.
right. But then it's also like,
Which so many people had their actual family there. There was so many families with fucking kids, and I was just like I did laugh at one point in time. Alex, I won't say which one.
Yeah.
Was smoking a joint, and there's a kid right behind her, like fucking like
yeah, just waving it.
just trying to wave the smoke out of his
That's,
face.
you know what?
And I was like, oh well, but you brought your kid to a fucking
But that's
Grateful
common.
Dead concert.
Like
you know?
babies are common at these shows. Like
Oh,
people bring
yeah.
babies and put headphones on them.
Oh yeah, and you can see the adults that have been coming since they were a baby. It's a
Yeah.
very special kind of
It's-
human person.
It is a very, I don't know. I think a lot of people, what happens, and I felt this way. I mean, it's part of why I wanted to bring you into it, is like you have so many memories and so much joy wrapped around this one thing that you want to bring another person into it that hopefully gets something from it. But I can tell you when my dad brought me to see Bob Dylan at a very young age, I was just like, I don't understand what this guy's saying.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you just miss it.
Well, I think psychedelics are a big part of the show.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's always been that way.
Yeah, there's definitely a flow of where you're like, there's a lot of, you can feel the energies. There's a lot of people on psychedelics.
Yeah. I was watching people that if I was to look at them, I wouldn't have guessed it. But I saw them, like, there were people passing boomers around, and I was like, all right.
I feel like the crowds there were fucking with my eyes a lot because of that weird little spin dance that people do.
Yeah.
Like when there's a bunch of people doing that in a crowd from a distance, you're like, it looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, it looks like human pinwheels, right?
Yeah, you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, is that part of the act?
And then the visuals are all crazy on the screen.
Dude.
They had those crazy lights behind them, and I was like, oh man, they're putting some weird overlay on them on the screen. And I was like, no, that's not an overlay. That's just the lights behind them in the fucking camera. It looks fucking crazy.
The visuals this year on the screen during the second set were by far the best I've seen.
Yeah, I thought they were really cool, man. And then I love it too because then all of a sudden there'd be like you could tell that Bob Weir put together the visuals almost for like the song because he'd be like, all right, I want an old black and white tunnel, and I want a fucking mining cart rolling down the tunnel for the whole song, and then me, I want to be green. Make me green. Make Bobby green. You know, like
yeah, like that was Cumberland.
There's some times where I was just like, oh man, this doesn't make sense. Like you can tell that somebody who doesn't do lights in the band, Bob, I'm guessing was like, this is how I want it.
Yeah, but the thing is. It worked.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
it got you thinking, and it's like what it does. You start overthinking it, and then they're like, "You got to get out of there, man. Just get in the tunnel and ride it down."
Well, for that section though, I was like, "Man, this feels like public access."
Yeah,
it feels.
But
like...
I will say that the train tunnel was cool. It just kept clicking. But if you're close enough to it, like if you're on the field, I bet you really got pulled into it, depending on how far in you were.
I was just laughing the whole time that was happening. I also just kind of so we're there. The first set is
which I think you missed. You missed trucking.
Oh no, I saw it.
Did you see it? Okay.
Yeah, I was down there.
I will say
they opened with trucking, right?
No,
that was the second song.
Second song. They opened with "Let the Good Times Roll," classic Brent, which was wild because it was like a I don't know, 80, 82, something like that feel. It would definitely had an 80s feel to it, but Let the Good Times Roll opened into Truckin', which was great. I was like, man, they are really lighting it up.
Yeah.
Smokestack Lightning, okay. And then they went into Deal, which the Deal was good. Me and My Uncle I loved. It's one that I hadn't heard in a while. One thing that a lot of people have been talking about right now, or today when I saw a bunch of tie-dyes running around work, was Dear Mr. Fantasy that bled into Hey Jude, which was, I mean, that was wild. No one really expected it.
Yeah, it's funny because when it comes to all that stuff, I'm just like, like you and Alex were talking about shit like that, and I was just like tripping, and I was just like spacing the fuck out. I was like, well, and then that sun. So we were sitting in the sun. It was beating down on me, and I didn't have any sunscreen because Megan told me that ours was really expensive.
Yeah, and then I was like, I've got some, and then once we got to my house, I realized I think mine had been packed for the big trip.
So then we're sitting in the sun. Luckily, we had hats on. I go to the medical tent eventually and just get sunscreen.
Right.
And come walking back with a pile of sunscreen in my hand and then just extend it out to everybody. Which
I thought was bird shit. I don't know why. It looked, and I was like, because to be shit on by a bird it's technically good luck. So I was like, is he just telling us that it's a lucky day?
Yeah, AJ thought that a bird had shit on my hand and that I had walked back to the seats with it to show everybody. And then you had to be really confused when the other two people,
just
Alexes, just like dipped their hands in it and started rubbing it on their face. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it was odd.
And then I was like, do you want any of that? And you're like, no, I don't. I don't want any of that.
You keep your totem of good luck.
Little did he know that would have been the best thing he would have got on him for the rest of the night.
No, it was great for me. I mean, I needed the sun. I've been in Florida and traveling. I wasn't worried about getting burned. I've got quite a bit of melanin in my body.
I didn't get burned either. It was fine.
Yeah,
the sun was about to go down. I wish I would have gotten the sunscreen earlier, so I didn't try to use my hat so much. The guy in frnt of us, John, he was the
lobster
crispy lobster man by the end of the day. But he was beat red. Like he has to feel so fucking bad this morning.
Yeah, I think so. But I bet those guys probably have 2 more days. Like that's the bad part of day one if you cook. But then again, I mean, I don't know. You could always try to get in early and go to the west side so you're not sitting in the sun as much.
Some things that I thought were very good about the overall experience with the band is they do it is a fucking event.
Oh yeah,
You know,
dude, it's a party.
day. You know, like I've paid how much for the tickets? $100.
Yeah, $100 for GA. You could a little bit more if you were on the field.
So that's a lot of money for a ticket, but it is a day. It's not $100 for 3 hours where you go and fucking for half that time you hear a band that you've never even heard of before.
Right. Yeah, there is no openers or other bands playing.
They come on, they play 3 sets, they play for a few hours. They played until what, 11?
I think about 11, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, AJ's like, they're going all night long till midnight till they get shut down.
Midnight is, well, I've been there when they played till midnight, but midnight is, I think, regulation by Boulder. They got to be done.
Yeah, so they didn't fucking, they bailed. The encore, I thought, you guys told me it was going to be like 10, 20 minutes.
No, it's great. Dude,
They just did one song, though.
They did one. Yeah, every now and again. Monday, maybe we get a double encore because it's the last night. It's always, you never know. But I think Bob's voice at one point, also, he was like coughing a little bit. And I was like, I wonder if he's drying out.
Yeah.
He's 75 years old.
I actually think that he was auto-tuned.
No, he wasn't I mean, he might have been auto-tuned to you.
No, I like listen to him singing, and I think that there was like not like the because there's auto tune that you can do on a voice where it doesn't make it sound all robotic and auto tuney, but I think he had some effects going on to help him sing.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You could deep dive that one.
That's my conspiracy theory that I'm throwing out. I think Bob Weir might use a little bit of auto tune.
I don't know. I think your mushrooms made him sound like a robot.
Or is pre-recorded.
Oh, I don't think that. I mean, dude, there's no way it was if it was pre-recorded, they did a bad job. Because when he was popping off wrong, I was like, okay. And when he's going like that and really popping when he was doing during Sugar Mag, I was like, you're gonna throw your voice already, buddy.
Okay, yeah, that was another thing everybody kept saying. Bob sounds good tonight, and I was like, I think it's auto tune.
He did sound really good.
I think the tech is there.
But I've also seen Bob when he was going through a pill phase and kind of like falling out on stage.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And they were like, "Oh, he's got shoulder problems." I was like, "Yeah," but
yeah. So there's the first set that was about what 45, 50 minutes.
No, it's about 90.
Really?
It just went by really quick. Yeah, they're typically about a 90-minute set.
Because the second one felt much longer.
Yeah, they really held it. But I mean, the second set always feels longer. They typically stretch everything out a lot more.
And there was definitely 30 minutes in the second set where I was like, I don't like this.
Wow.
Like the fucking Drums in Space, I thought was fucking awesome. But when they came back from Drums in Space,
well, yeah,
there was like a long period where I was like, if the whole show was like this, I would be bummed.
Well, that was Drums and then Coming Out of Space, and then they were jazzing around to figure out what song they were going into.
Yeah, it was rough.
And I will say, for anyone that is a Deadhead, Alex and I were talking about this. They did a Terrapin, which I love. It's a great song. They played it first set, which is oddly, I feel like out of whack. That's typically a second set song. And I say that because I just don't like to cry during first set. And I've been known I'll lose it at probably 1/3 of the shows I go to. I end up breaking up. I got really goosebumpy, but it was during the day and it just felt off. But it still got to, it's
you can't cry in the sun where people can see you.
No, you get sunburn on the cheekbones.
So, well, maybe you cried and maybe the sun was just evaporating the tears off of your face before they could fall.
We were at altitude.
Yeah, so who knows? But, the first set, I'm having a good time, doing some wandering. Alex bought me a double lemonade, which got me a little buzz with my mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I was having a great time. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome. The second set starts. I'm fucking loving it. And then all of a sudden, I hear some cans fall over, and I feel wetness all over the back of my leg.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, fucking somebody just spilled a drink. But no, I realized very quickly that there is a woman that's like fucking in her 60s that just fucking buries her head between her legs and just starts puking hard as fuck right behind us. It starts splashing all over my legs, all over my fucking
all over
Crocs.
the back of my legs and my poster tube.
was like, I'm tripping way too fucking hard for this, and I fucking ran.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm fucking out of here, and I ran to the bathroom because I have to wash vomit off of me on fucking mushrooms. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
I definitely, because I felt the splash, and it was, when it splashed up on me, I was like, someone spilled a beer. It definitely sounded like a beer, and it felt like, it was liquidy and felt like a beer hitting my legs. And I was like, okay, what the fuck? And I turned around to go, come on, guys. And then when I saw her just cutting loose, I was like, oh no. And then you took off.
I ran.
And I knew,
ran. I was like, I'm fucking out of here. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Vomit. And then I'm like, my seat's ruined. Like, fucking the place that we saved in the fucking sun for a fucking hour and a half. I'm like, this fucking lady just vomited all over it. Like, I was so pissed for a second. And I was like, but then I got there into the bathroom and I was like, this is a situation where I can clean the fucking, my pants aren't covered in vomit.
Yeah.
It's just on my skin. I can wash my fucking legs and my shoes in the goddamn sink.
Yeah.
But yeah, I spent fucking 10 minutes on mushrooms washing vomit off my legs in the sink of a fucking trough urinal bathroom.
Yeah. I told Alex, like, the weird part for me on that was it was definitely harshing my vibe a lot. Like, I was bummed out. And then I was holding a tube that had vomit on the side of it. And I was like, if these posters are ruined, and I couldn't get out of the thing of like going, fucking amateur hour. Like, you're old enough to know better of how much you can handle. Like,
and you know what I think it is? I think it's probably someone from out of town.
Altitude.
At fucking altitude. And they were drinking Juice Drop. Shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. Which is a great beer. I like it. But yeah, they're drinking beers that are stronger than their fucking Bud Light or wherever the fuck they're from it was ridiculous.
But now I'm going to talk about the positive of it. I think the part for me that the negative turned into a positive was I looked over and I saw that guy with that Be Here Now, that Ram Dass shirt on, and I started thinking about like how mad I am, how bad my posters might be ruined. Yeah. Then once I got the posters out of the tube, which Alex, and I'm going to double back on this, but female Alex goes, we just got to get a sleeve. We could take care of this. It's not a big deal. And then man Alex was like, there's definitely going to be some damage. And then I'm getting more and more upset. And he finally ran and just grabbed me a sleeve because I was just frozen, holding on to the dry part, trying to let the tube go before I tested the posters. She held on to it. We got it out.
This lady could have fucking ruined $130 worth of fucking posters. Dude,
which I had already come to terms with.
One of a kind.
Well, they're one of however many thousand.
Your number is one of a kind.
That's true. But
I'm just fucking her.
What also would have made those
prints
trying
to get you hyped up
even more unique would have been the vomit wobble that was on the poster. Like, I hate to say that, but that there would have been a part of me that would have been mad. And then every time I would have looked at it, I'd been like, oh man,
to a real collector, this has more value.
Right. The bile. But once we opened it up and I got it in the sleeve, Alex, what a boss. She just grabs the tube. We scoop it out. She helps me get it in the sleeve. I drop the tube. And that was when... Also, I just want to bring up to anybody who listens to the Grateful Dead, the funniest thing to me was that we were second song into second set. They were playing Shakedown Street. So my favorite part of this the entire story was when they go, maybe you had too much too fast. And then she's just like, oh, and I was like, definitely too much too fast.
Well, and then we figure out after the show why Lady Alex is being such a boss.
No idea
that it's vomit. She thinks that somebody just spilled beer. Like, she was coming back kind of right as I was like running away.
Yeah.
Dude, look at the moon.
Oh, look at it. It's a wind-based alcohol waterfall.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude. Clean up after these shows is gotta be awful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
because of that?
Ew. Oh, my God, ew.
and like something about the chaos of me running away, this lady vomiting, everybody being upset, the color on the poster, she didn't put together that it was vomit. And then, yeah, dude Alex was like, yeah.
How did you not know?
Yeah, but then he was like, no, I was like blown away. I was
Yeah.
like, she doesn't give a fuck.
She was barehanding the vomit side of that poster tube.
Yeah,
and I was like, you were a stone cold baller. And she goes, oh my God.
Yeah.
My hand did what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck.
And then she's like, thank God I've washed my hand like 3 times since then,
Yeah.
but still like, what the fuck, you know? And she's like,
Ugh.
then she's like looking at her pants and shit. Like, she's like, oh my God, I didn't get it on me.
Yeah.
And yeah, then she kept being weird because I came back eventually and was like, all right, but the spot I had saved all along that I wanted to sit in was the row.
Yeah. And you
there.
finally got that.
And I got my spot, and then there's some times where they're like, do you want to move? And I kept being like, no, I'm afraid of down there.
Yeah.
And she was like, looking at me like I was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'd be like, sorry, I'm a little traumatized by down there. And she had to just think I was like such a fucking bitch.
Dude.
Like,
because she had no idea. And I will say, like, so Shakedown, I was shook up. Like, the whole thing, like, I got the tube fixed.
yeah, more like Shook Up Street.
Right. Also, how cool was it that we posted that picture of us in front of that Shakedown thing, and then they actually played it?
Do they not usually play that song anymore?
Oh no, they'll play that. Whatever they're gonna play is completely random. So it's just you look
Like,
for the magic.
Is there any songs that like you haven't heard in a long, like they haven't played in a long
So,
time? Like,
it
'cause
depends.
I was happy that they played some songs off of American Beauty.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I heard Saint Stephen. For a long time, the Dead in general just stopped playing it because the song is so difficult.
The first song of the second set was great. Like the jamming of it. I felt like I was in like a nice, like kind of meditational state almost. Like that's why that lady throwing up like fucked with me so bad
Yeah.
too, is because I was like really into the zone. I was like fucking enjoying the experience, and I was like, oh, I'm getting what this is all about.
Yeah, because you were
know?
that was an Eyes of the World, which is an amazing song.
Well, yeah, John Mayer was like fucking ripping that guitar up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like so in the zone, and then this lady just was like, blah, you know,
Yeah.
like fuck.
That's part of it.
And then what blew me away is how you guys like Lady Alex didn't know, so you know that's cool. But you and Alex knew,
We just took
and
it.
you just took that vom. You just wrote
Yep.
it out. You
Fucking
didn't.
did it.
I don't think you even did. You get up during the whole show?
Nope. I mean, no. At that point, I mean, I went to the bathroom a couple times, but after the vomit, I was just in it. It's fucking Marine rule.
Yeah, dude. And Alex just looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, sometimes you know you just fucking you stand in the vomit."
Yeah, you just got to do it. Like the problem was
Like
is the show is.
I would have if everybody would have been me, we would have just like lost our seats because I would have just.
That was the problem. And now I will say this: if it not a sold out show and there's open seats somewhere, I'll move to another spot.
Yeah.
But there was nothing, and I was just like, "This is the best it's gonna get." And yeah, I mean, I thought about it for a second. I was like, "This is gross," and I'm in it. I've got sandals on, and then. Yeah, Shakedown Street ended, and then they went into St. Stephen, which I've not heard live, let alone that good in a long time, and it started to pull me out of it. And then Lady Alex came back during Cumberland, and that's when you came back, and that's when they had the railroad thing going. And at that point, man, I had forgotten all about it. That's when I started to come out of it, fuck the vomit, and just started jamming again.
I will say this, something about the mushrooms that I took yesterday, maybe it's the allergies or whatever, I could not smell. So I was very grateful for that because like I didn't smell vomit for the entire show.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't smell vomit. It was God.
Shout out to Breckenridge. Your juice drop when people vomited at a concert doesn't smell
Nope.
too bad.
Pretty good vom.
Yeah. But
yeah, and then after St. Stephen or after Cumberland, that's when the band left and drums started, and that's when I remember looking over at you and man, Alex, I was like, "Hey, buckle your seatbelt," and just as a joke, but man, was it wild! I mean,
Yeah.
the tribal aspect of that drums, like I couldn't stop rocking, like I was just back and forth in the realm, and every now and again, I was having difficulty figuring out if it was actually Mickey Hart or if it was a tree that was growing when it just kept bleeding in and out of the green.
Yeah, a lot of catatonic style dancing.
Yeah. Yeah. Real good.
A lot of conniption style movement.
A lot of brainwashing at that point. And when the skeletons came in and we're starting the tribal spins.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is about how they're gonna die soon. Because they're fucking 80 years old.
They are old.
Yeah. I thought it was good though.
Yeah.
So I had fun, and then
we got into
smoked a big joint and fucking chilled out. But yeah, I had fun just wandering around too.
That's part of it. I mean, the whole thing is like, again, I wish Shakedown would have been closer. Last year, so when we came out and we went to the right, last year you went to the left and then there was a little bit of Shakedown right there. But it's just so hard to figure out where it was. And that's, Boulder gets kind of stingy with the ability to put that stuff up.
Yeah. They're probably like, we want a permit.
Yeah.
You need to have a permit to sell your crystals.
Yeah.
And
just all those balloons.
Yeah. We did see some kids I did see 2 balloons.
Yeah.
But
yeah, further east of the field, I think maybe you would have gotten into those little punching balloons.
At the end of the day, it's a fun live experience.
Yeah.
For music. And I don't think that, like, I have no desire to, like, throw them on and listen to them today, or, like, while I'm hanging out, or, like, I don't think I'm going to, like...
Would you watch the show again at your house to relive the experience?
Because I think show?
Well, you have that ability to go back and watch that, I believe. Every ticket allows for a live taping of that show.
Huh, weird. That's cool. Probably not.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because that's part of it. That's the thing that the Dead did that was wild about the live recordings, is because if you got to a point where something happened, whether you were tripping or not, you could always listen to that point and go, was this that intense? Because I can tell you right now, when it comes out, if we re-listen to Drums in Space without headphones on, it will not have the same effect. Like that bass rattling around.
Yeah, you just got to kind of be in the moment. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't go back and watch videos of days that I loved, really. You know, I take videos and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And pictures, but, like, it's very rare that I go back and look at all that stuff. I feel like I'm just saving it all up for when, you know, I'm laying in that bed about to die, so I can be like, oh, here was the good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always, for me, it's like a time travel
like
thing.
that. I want to get a TV, like some sort of picture where I could put all my pictures in and they would just cycle through. Like, that would be great.
Yeah. I think the thing about them for me, and a lot of jam bands also, it's just that every show's unique. So it is a way, you know, audibly, it's a trip down memory lane. Like, you close your eyes and listen to it. I will forever remember hanging out with you and Alex. I'll never forget Woman losing her shit behind us. I'll never forget Vomit Tube, and how it still worked out. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is cool that you have that option to go do that. The other thing that I see about the jam band itself is that I think there's a big kind of connection to Eastern.
Oh, yeah.
Like meditation in a way.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Because when you're watching them jam out and all that stuff, like there became a point where I was just kind of not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And just, you know, like you would after, like in a good meditation.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just kind of zoning out, you know?
And that's I feel like that's what it's supposed to do.
You're in the present.
It's hard to explain. But
and then a woman vomits on your legs.
Yeah.
So
that's the bumsker.
But yeah, and I will say that the music, 3/4 of it didn't bother me. There was when they came back from Drums in Space where I was just like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, they were getting jazzy, and it was this thing called Milestone, I guess, which I've never heard. But it definitely was this jazz thing where I was like, all right. And I remember Lady Alex, I was like, at one point she went to take a picture and the light came on. And I was like, she was like, oh my God. And I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, the lady behind us threw up everything. I was like, your phone just threw up a little light. It's fine. And she goes, she threw up? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, huh. And I was like, this is, so I don't think it connected. And I was like, this music is wild. And she goes, honestly, it's a little too disconnected. She goes, I think I'm going to have to take a time out. And that's when she left.
So, yeah.
Because it can, honestly, drums in space sometimes can scramble you up.
I mean, I thought it was great. And I thought it was a nice intermission in the middle of the show. Like I said, perfect amount of sitting and standing.
Yeah.
And I love how everybody sat down for drums in space in the middle of that long second set where I was just at the point where I'm like, I could use a little sit time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
that is the best meditative state. I'll be honest, like most people will say, if the bean is timed out right, that is the moment you hope to be peaking.
Yeah. No.
And then after that, Bob sang a Days Between, which I get. It didn't get to me the way the Terrapin did.
Dude, if the show would have ended at Drums in Space, I would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't have gotten what everyone is talking about. Everyone I spoke with today, I was like, you're at the show last night? And they're like, yeah. And it's this. Sugar Magnolia into Scarlet Begonias. Like, seamless transition, and then back out of it into Sunshine Daydream was absolutely epic. I've never seen them transition those three songs that way, and it was so fucking good. And that closed the second set, and then Alex and I believed the same thing. I was like, here comes another Saturday night, and then we're going home. And they did a Going Down the Road Feeling Bad, which I thought was also epic. I'd have to look. I don't know how many times they've not played One More Saturday Night on Saturday.
Yeah, it was.
So it was a nice spin up.
It was nice that they played some. I know those songs, so that was cool.
Well, and it's I like that. I really like the fact they played Going Down the Road Feeling Bad because every person in the band got to sing a little bit. I love it when O'Teal sings. Yeah. It's also wild too when you think of a tribal thing. I mean, his face paint changes every show.
Yeah. No, and I thought John Mayer really was one of the best parts too of the show.
He did a great job. I'm not going to say that, but he did a good job.
I mean,
and you're free to have that opinion.
I also think the reason why a lot of people are like, "Oh, Bobby sounds good tonight," or "the singing sounds good," is because Mayer's layering in the background vocals too.
Oh, that's bullshit. That is horse shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, because the thing is
you getting upset?
No. It's just
about Mayer.
No, I'm not getting upset about Mayer. It's just I don't think that.
So yeah, after that lady vomited, and I had to get off the. I had to get out of there for a little bit.
To get off the bus
I went down towards the floor. I got down in the meat. I got down in the grinder in the action.
Were they? You got in the spin zone?
I didn't quite get down, and I was watching that from a distance. But I got to this place where I was standing in the aisle, and it was where they had like all the people that were in wheelchairs and stuff, and which were some pretty old hardcore deadheads. And an old lady shared your sentiment.
I told Alex this. So I saw this band in Atlanta in 2015, the first year they were together. They weren't meshing well at that point, and there were so many people that did not know what they were coming into that 25% of the audience left, and it blew my mind. I get it if John Mayer fans show up and they're like, "What is this?" and they leave. But I still don't understand. If you're a deadhead, like a diehard, and you hear this, can you explain to me why you don't like this band? Like, that's what I don't understand. And I know the tempo for some things are different. Like, I know Wolf Bros, that it's a down tempo. So people don't like that it's not picked up, so it's not danceable. But
I thought it was fine. I mean, a lot of the songs they played that I knew sounded like the way that I'd heard them recorded.
Yeah, I thought the tempo was fine.
A lot of people liked my fanny pack.
Yeah. You missed it when you were looking up directions and we were standing there right outside of everyone leaving. There was a tripper, a spin guy, and he was going, "Hey, cowboy." Hey, cowboy.
Oh, I didn't miss
Hey,
that.
cowboy.
I didn't miss that at all.
You just chose not to engage?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm not going to engage with this. He had his shirt off, and he was really intense. He's like, hey, cowboy.
He was all pupils. He just kept going, hey, cowboy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's gonna happen?
Oh,
You were
yeah.
just in it. And I was like, he's not gonna engage.
Oh no, this is a great. That's when a phone is a wonderful tool in the world. Where you're like, oh, I don't have to deal with this guy fucking on tons of drugs with his shirt off. That's calling me cowboy.
Hey, cowboy.
Yeah. Which cowboy's a name I used to respond to actually.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I love that you thought I didn't see that guy.
No, I was like, I'm sure he heard it, but. And then I want to say again, I know I haven't mentioned this on the podcast, but yesterday when we got there early enough to kind of roam around the campus a little bit, what a beautiful campus CU is.
Yeah, I can't believe they let all those people on there.
Dude, for the most part, I think everyone is very respectful because if they trashed that place, they would have shut it down a long time ago.
We saw the stadium. They trashed that place.
The stadium, that's one thing. But then I'm talking about outside of the stadium where people are like laying in the lawn. And apparently, I just remember this, what Man Alex told me was that Shakedown was somewhere between CU Boulder and Naropa, which I'm an alumni of, and Naropa University.
Yeah. Shakedown School.
Shakedown School.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, man, I thought I had some frustrating points. I felt pretty good, all in all, about the show. And I've talked to, it was set-wise, again, Days Between was a low point for me. Terrapin during the day was good, but everything, that...
So I did have a moment, a memory when I was a kid, when Steel Magnolia came on or whatever. Because I did listen. My mom had that record.
Yeah.
And
I looked over at one point. I wasn't going to say it, but I saw you bopping your head a little bit, and I was like, he's not having a bad time.
Well, and also it's like, what? I'm not gonna go there and just be like a fucking dick, It's a concert. I play all those instruments.
Yeah.
But,
that's what.
And there's a lot of bands too that I will say I'll watch live, but I have no interest in listening to
outside of that experience.
Of that experience.
Well, and that's what Alex and I were talking about when I think you left during first set to go get water or something or use the bathroom. And I was like, this is Zach's first show. And he goes, yeah. He goes, what do you think? And I was like, I just hope he stays open to the experience because I don't care if he ever goes again, but I think he'll have a good time as long as he's not resistant to everything.
Well, yeah. And there's definitely weirdos around and a bunch of people on psychedelics, which, that's an interesting enough time for me where, like, whenever I'd get bored with the music, I would just go wander around and watch the other show.
Yeah.
The People show.
The whole thing is a memorable experience if you just lean into it.
It was good. I had a good time. I would go again. I don't know if I would pay $100 to go again.
Yeah.
But, anytime you want to take me, I'll go.
Yeah. No. We'll have to figure out. The bad part is it's such a massive event that we would have to almost try to find something comparable. A show at Red Rocks would be close because of the parking lot. And I feel like the parking lot scene then would be a little bit better. And as far as
jam bands go, the Dead are definitely, I think, one of the more tolerable ones for me. It's Fish that I really can't stand.
They're not, and that happens a lot.
And they didn't jam. They didn't jam very much in the first set that they did.
No.
Which I was like, okay, these are all songs with choruses and, whatever. Well, it does feel like sometimes as a band, they don't know what they are.
I also will say this. Like, I've seen the band get lost. Like, when it was, like, Further and then the first year that they were together. I don't think they're doing that intentionally. I think they're playing their hearts out every show this tour because they know if you went to one show and were never to go again, they want to make sure that you get a really good last show.
I had a great experience, so I was happy I went. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years we'll listen to the set from there and see what we remember versus this episode or whatever. But the memory I had is I had just gotten into weed. I'm like 14 years old probably, and probably smoked weed like 8 times. I don't have any. I wish nothing. All I want to do is get stoned because that was fun. I'm bored in my bedroom, so I'm trying to make it all.
You're trying to force the high?
Well, I'm just trying to create the vibe of weed. You know?
Just alone in the room. Were you spinning? Trying to get yourself a little dizzy?
Well, so I had that Grateful Dead record on. I had like a black light on. And then I had gotten this like yellow light, and I was like, oh, it's still too bright. So I took a towel and I put it over the light bulb.
Yeah.
And
did it catch fire?
It started on fire.
Oh my God.
And started smoking. My mom was like, what the fuck? You know, it comes down. I'm listening to Grateful Dead. There's a towel on fire on my light bulb. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, oh, I was trying to dip. And she's like, you fucking idiot.
I was trying to get the vibe.
Yeah. I don't think I used that word, but yeah, it was not a good experience. Yeah. But made me laugh remembering it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I almost burned my house down to that song, I think.
Yeah. Interesting experience. My mom gave me Skeletons in the Closet. My dad had the vinyl, and I listened to it later, but I put it on, and because I was into metal, like Motley Crue was one of my favorite bands. I loved hair metal when I was younger, and I put that on because I was like, Skeletons. There was like a picture of like Jesus and Elvis and a skeleton holding a record, and I think when you folded it out, there was a doobie, and I was like, oh, yeah. And I don't remember what song it was. It was either Sugar Mag. It wasn't Sugar Mag. It had to be Mexicali Blues maybe, or St. Stephen's. But I think it was Mexicali Blues. And I put it on, and it got genuinely maybe a minute of my time, and I took it out. And I remember just going, I'm not into this Charlie Manson bullshit. Yeah. And later on in high school, at some point, probably on acid, someone played me the St. Stephen from Cornell 77, and I was like, oh, I kind of get this now.
No, I see why you like it.
Yeah, it's essentially my baseball cards.
Yeah.
The weird part is there's a real nerd aspect to it. Like, and that's what you saw between Alex and I. We were just talking about.
Oh yeah, it's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know. I
think that's what was putting me into a meditative state too. Is that I was basically in between two people having the most boring conversation I've ever heard in my life, while listening to someone noodle on a guitar on mushrooms while the fucking lights are going all crazy. And I'm like, okay, I'm not even here anymore. I'm in the fucking next realm. You know?
I'm getting there.
Yeah. So, it was exactly what my ADHD brain needed to chill out. To just have a moment of zen.
Yeah. So we'll have to festival it up sometime. Maybe, I know we talked about Hillberry. Maybe next year we get you out to Hillberry. We do a set. And, that's a lot of bluegrass.
Yeah.
So it's not as noodly.
Which I like to listen to bluegrass, but I don't. But live, after a few hours, I'm just like fucking over it because it all sounds the same to me.
It definitely changes. And that, God, dude, I'll tell you right now, one of the best bluegrass bands that I really like right now is the Kitchen Dwellers. And their late night sets are it just takes you to a different era.
One thing I do want to give a shout out to, I want to start a campaign. Bring back the trough.
Oh, did you enjoy pissing in the trough?
I love it.
I thought, this is where my head was at one point. I was like, because I didn't see shitters. I was like, I wonder how mad someone would be if I just turned around and dropped one.
Well, the shitters are around the corner, and there was a line for the shitters always at the back of the massive trough line.
Yeah.
And, I didn't see it, but I just yelled to him. I was like, man, are you guys shitting in a trough back there too? And the whole line, it was like my bathroom joke of the night.
Yeah, dude. The bathroom talk is wild. Because I heard one guy going, he was on the other side, and we made eye contact for something, and the guy just goes, weird, huh? And the guy goes, yeah, you try not to make eye contact. Keep going left to right. You look down, but don't go left to right to the down. You're going to see it. This other guy's like, man, I don't know if I'm getting old. It's just hard to go. And he goes, you got to break through the crust, and then you're good.
Yeah, there was a time where I made eye contact with a guy that looked like he could have been, like, my 20-year-old son.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me like... And what was weird is we had the exact same dick, too.
Oh, man.
And then it was weird too because what I realized halfway through the night is I was like, oh, anybody walking by who looks left can just see Hog in the bathroom.
Didn't you say there was someone there giving you the big little?
And I looked over and somebody was doing the little like
I crush your head?
pinching dicks. Sitting on the hog.
I pinch your dick.
Dicks. This
I
guy
pinch your dick. I will.
If you get puked on, you don't even care. You're like,
I don't.
Sure, I'll show my hog to everybody at the Dead concert.
I don't know if you saw this or heard this when we were leaving, and I want to give a shout out to whoever this security guy was, the ticket taker, because I appreciated it so much. One of the guys was just standing there making sure everyone was leaving fine, and the guy goes, "Tickets, tickets," and the guy goes, "To get out." And when I heard that, I was like, I appreciate that so much. He's just looking for big pupils and then going, tickets?
Fuck yeah. Well, that
So
was the
good.
Dead show. Yeah, we got home at 1. I ordered Domino's carry out, which took 2 hours for them to prepare.
Yeah.
Luckily, by that point, I was sober and I went and got that pizza and fucking ate it.
Dude, that was part of it. I felt I wanted to do this pod last night, but literally once we got out of the venue and started walking, I was like, okay, we get back to the car. Then once we got in the car, like I was so dry from allergies, and then I was starving. And you were like, let's get pizza. And I was like, that sounds good. Once I
You were
get
getting
pizza.
cranky, AJ.
Dude, fucking, I was so hangry. And then you were like, it's going to be like 90 minutes. Let's pod and then get pizza. And I was like, I will not. I don't think I'm going to make it. And then I realized I have vomit on the back of my legs. Like, there, I have to get that. I just need to shower. And yeah, all of that is what led to us talking today. But I feel I'm in a much better space. This is literally the last piece of work that I have before vacation.
Yeah, man.
I'm so excited. So if you guys hear this, you probably won't hear it until we get back. But yeah, we have one more show tomorrow, and then we're heading off to the Gorge, coast of Oregon, and be a well-needed vacay for me.
Fuck yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining the Patreon OnlyFans or whatever the fuck this is on that you're listening to this on. And we appreciate you guys for supporting Hippie Not Hippie.
Absolutely.
And, thanks so much for getting on the motherfucking...
Well, I met you down around Mexico. You were reading your book and your head did blow. You were talking funny to me.
Hey, this is Zach. My debut album, Punching Jesus, is coming out November 9th. You can buy it on presale on iTunes and Amazon now at hippieNotHippiePod.com or scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks so much for your support. And while you're there, pick up a copy of AJ's new album, Too Fast for Rain, as well. Thanks.